Good morning, students. Yesterday we have seen what is an algorithm and basics of an data structures. And about algorithm, an algorithm is a finite set of instructions that follows a particular task, and that algorithm satisfies the some criteria, and those criteria about output, definiteness, effectiveness. These three are the characteristics of an algorithm: output, definiteness, effectiveness, finiteness. These four are the characters of algorithm. Four are the characteristics of algorithm. First one, output. An algorithm has one or more output which have a specified relation to the inputs, that is called as output. And coming to the second one, definiteness, each step must be perceivably defined. Each instruction is clear and unambiguous. And coming to the third one, finiteness, an algorithm must always be treated after a finite number of steps. And next, fourth one, effectiveness. All operations to be performed must be sufficiently basics that they can be done exactly in finite length. There are many ways for describing an algorithm. But you all know the well-known describing algorithm. How will you describe the algorithm? By using flowchart we can describe, or pseudocode you described, or what the language we are using, we can use that language also, that is called as natural language. And there are three ways to describe an algorithm: natural language, flowchart, pseudocode. Coming to natural language is used for language like English. We can simply write the process for that. That is called as natural language. And flowcharts, you all know we are using some special symbols, graphical representations called as flowchart. Only if the algorithm is small and simple. And pseudocode also avoid most issues of ambiguity, no particular on syntax. So those are the three ways to approach or describe an algorithm. And this is an example for an algorithm for calculating factorial value of a number. Input A, number n is the set of final value. If the final value is less than or equal to final into n, then decrease the n value. Check n number of sequence up to 0. If n is equal to 0, go to next step, and break the loop. Execute after the else part, then print the result finally. And this is the example for binary search. I think you don't know presently about the binary search because you are in basics. So that's why I'm omitting this. And coming to the analysis, I will tell that topic in today's session, and by end of today's session. And coming to the next one, that is algorithm analysis. There are two types of analysis. One is prior analysis and next one is posterior analysis. The efficiency of algorithm can be analyzed in two different stages: before implementation and after implementation. We simply call that is prior and post. In prior analysis, there is a theoretical analysis of an algorithm. Efficiency of algorithm measured by assuming that all other factors, that means process of the speed, constant values, efficiency of algorithm, by considering those all we can measure the prior analysis. But in posterior analysis, the selection of algorithm is implemented using the program language. This is then executed on target computer machine. In this analysis, actual statistics like running time and space required are collected. An algorithm analysis deals with the execution or running time of variable operations, And running time of operation is defined as the number of computer instructions executed per operation. And next one, coming to the analysis, up to now we have seen the how to we analyze the algorithm, and the next topic is complexity, calculating the complexity. Suppose x is an algorithm and n is the size of input. The time and space used for an algorithm is x are two main factors, and the decision of efficiency of x is based on the time factor. The time is measured by counting the number of keys operations, number of comparisons, how many comparisons are done in the particular algorithm. Here sorting is mentioned, but you don't know what is sorting, what is searching. I will tell you briefly. That's why I am not mentioning while I am speaking. A space factor, a space is measured by counting the maximum memory space required by the algorithm. And the analysis of algorithm is space complexity, depends upon space complexity. And what is space complexity means? There are two types again, fixed part and variable part. In space complexity of an algorithm represents the amount of memory space required by algorithm in its life cycle. Space required by an algorithm is equal to the sum of following two components, fixed and variable. In fixed, a space is required to store the certain data and variables that are independent of the size problem. For example, a simple variable is a constant used in the program. That means while you are writing in the C program, writing a C program, the I value is initiated to 1. Then that means there is no 0th position. We have to start in first position. So that I value is fixed for first position. So that is called as fixed part. And coming to the variable part is a space required by the variable whose size depends on the size of problem. For example, while you are executing the program, you are done with the already we are you all are well familiar with the C programming language. I know that. While you are executing the program, sometimes we have to enter. For example, on output screen we get a message, enter the n value. Then you will allocate the n value. That means we assign 5, 10, 10, 20, 40, whatever you want, you can assign that n value. After that, enter first element. Then you will enter the suppose you have given the n value is 3. Then next, in after clicking the enter button, we will get the enter first button. Then you will enter the first element in those 3 elements. For suppose 3, 2, 4 are the your 3 elements. First time you will enter the 3, next time you will enter the 2, next time you will enter the 4. Like that allocation, that type of allocation, while you are entering the elements in running time, that is called as a variable part or dynamic memory allocation. And the space complexity is represented by using S of P of an algorithm. In that S of P, P is the problem and S is the space required for that and space complexity. P is S of P equal to C plus S of P of 1, where C is the constant fixed part, S of 1 is the variable fixed part of an algorithm, which depends upon the situation. The following are the simple examples for that. And I am taking a sum of numbers in algorithm, sum of a comma b. We will start in first step, a, b, and after assigning a value, b value, we get the result in C. For example, 5 plus 5, a is 5, b is 5, 5 plus 5 we will get 10. The 10 is stored on C. So that is about the space complexity. And in time complexity of an algorithm is represents the amount of time required by the algorithm to run the computation. The time requirement can be defined as the numerical function t of n, where t of n can be measured as number of steps provided by the a particular algorithm to consume the constant time. So that is about the time complexity. Don't afraid if you don't understand also. Tomorrow we will have a doubt session in Zoom. You ask any doubts. If you have any doubts, you will ask in tomorrow session, tomorrow Zoom section. Space complexity and time complexity are just definitions for you on your syllabus. On your syllabus, the first topic in first unit is definition of data structure, classification of data structures, operations. All we have done in previous session. Now we are in with the time complexity and space complexity. And the next topic is an abstract data type is a type. After telling the ADT, we will continue with these sorting techniques. Just I am giving a definition, brief explanation about ADT. What is an ADT? ADT is a abstract data type. Abstract, ABSTRACT. Abstract data type is a type for object whose behavior is defined by a set of values and a set of operations. And ADT only mention what operations are to be performed, but not how those operations will be implemented. Clearly listen once. ADT is only mentions what operations are to be performed, but not how the operations will be implemented. It does not specify how data will be organized in memory, and the algorithm will be used for implementing the operations. It is called as abstract because it gives an implementation independent view. In view of independent view, the process providing essentially are hiding the details which are in abstract view. In ADT generally stored in key sequence, and just I am giving what is an abstract data type. It is a mathematical model for data types. ADT may be defined as a class of object whose logical behavior is defined by a set of values and a set of operations. Classification of objects whose logical behavior is defined by set of values and set of operations. That is the definition. Again I am repeating. Class of object whose logical behavior is defined by a set of values and set of operations, that is called ADT, abstract data type. And coming to the sorting techniques, and you should know what is a sorting. The general meaning of sorting is arranging elements. Sorting refers to arranging data in a particular format. In arranging of data, you all know ascending and descending, there are two orders, ascending order and descending order. A sorting algorithm specifies the way to arrange the data in a particular order. And coming to the bubble sort, you are seeing on the screen bubble sort. I will explain what is a bubble sort. A bubble sort is a simple sorting algorithm. Don't forget Sorting means arranging elements in order. That means that may be in ascending order or descending order, depends upon situation. You can solve that problem. So sorting means arranging elements in an order. Coming to there are many techniques in sorting. Bubble sort, merge sort, heap sort. There are many topics. Just now I am discussing with bubble sort. Bubble sort is a simple sorting algorithm. The sorting algorithm is comparison based algorithm, and when which each pair of adjacent element is compared and the elements are swapped if they are not in order. This algorithm is not suitable for large data sets because we have to compare each and every time the list of elements from adjacent to adjacent. So that's why this bubble sort is not suitable for big data. And coming to this example, see this example, there is a list of elements in array 5, 1, 6, 2, 4, 3. We have to arrange that elements by using bubble sort technique. We have to arrange that elements in order. And the order, the process of doing that order is like this. In the list of elements, 5, 1 are compared. If 5 and 1 are compared, the small element we have to get in first. So 5, 1 is compared, 1 is in the first position, 5 is in second position. In the next step, leave that first two elements because we are already done with those two elements. Take another two elements, 6 and 2. In the list, actual list, 6 and 2 are the next two elements. 6 and 2 we are comparing here. And after 2 is placed in particular position, again we will proceed with the next element 6 and 4. And comparison is done already. And next element is 6 and 3. We are arranging the 3 before and 6 next. We will continue this up to the entire elements is in the order. That means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Clearly observed, we are starting with the pair 5, 1 and the next 6, 2 is chosen because in the step 2 6, 2 is chosen because a 6 is larger than a 5. That's why I am not comparing with 5. But in after steps 6, 2, next 6, 4 I am taking because 6 is a large number. Every time taking 6, observe that. If you continue with this process, 5 to entire list is completed. That means you are seeing on the screen one phase is completed. Ante that means 6 3 is the last comparison and we are arranged that 3 and 6 in proper positions. That means the list of elements all are in order. We have placed as much as we have tried to place an order. And we will continue with the next phase. That means in the last step we get the elements 1, 5, 2, 4, 3, 6. We will continue with those last step elements. That means we have to start 1, 5. Those are all in order. So no to comparison. And in the next step 5, 2 we have to compare because 2 is the smaller. In third step 1, 2, 5. Again we have compare 5, 4. 4 we have to place. So the order is 1, 2, 4, 5, 3, 6. We have to compare now 5, 3. 5, 3 is 3 is the smaller number. So 1, 2, 4, 3, 5. We have to compare 5, 6 elements here. 1, 2, 4, 3, 5, 6. So again the phase 2 is also completed but the elements are not arranged. Student, don't be afraid. I will tell you on board in next class. This is for only introduction purpose I am telling. So what you can understand what are the basics for this. So it is very little bit easy to approach in the next topics. We will discuss briefly. That's why I am repeating. I am telling now the introduction part only. What are sortings and how to we will do sortings. We will take an example on Blackboard and I will tell you how the comparison will be done with algorithms also, along with the program. That means program algorithm here means only the piece of part, logical part in the program. I will tell the logic, that means algorithm. You have to implement the program. On Monday class I will tell you on Blackboard how the sortings will be done. This is only for your introduction purpose. And array is next to topic is in sortings. Already I have told you many topics are there in sorting techniques. Just now we have discussed with the bubble sort. I think you all know what is the process to solve the problem. And the next one is insertion sort. The array is arranged in sequentially in unsorted order, and we have to move that in inserted into sublist. We have to arrange that elements into order. Already this is the example for uh, uh, this is the example for insertion sort. I am giving a simple algorithm for this. If it is the first element, it is already sorted. Pick the next element, compare with all the elements in the sorted sublist. Shift the element in a sorted list greater values to be sorted. Insert that value in appropriate value and enter. That means clearly see on the screen. Example I am telling 3, 7, 4, 9, 5, 2, 6, 1 are in array. Take the first element 3, that is in proper place itself only, and pick the next element 7, that is the bigger element, and next element is 4. So 7 is the bigger than 4. So place that 4 in before place 3, 4, 7, 9, 5, 2, 6, 1, and take next element 9. 7, 9 we have to compare, they are in same position, and next we have to compare with those 7, 9 with 5. 5 is the smaller than those two elements 7 and 9. 3, 4, 5, 7, 9. I think you are understanding, but I will tell you Blackboard in briefly. Don't worry about if you don't understand also. And next element is 2. 2 is smaller than before element, so that's why the 2 is before. I am writing 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 9, 6, 1. Again the sixth element 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 1, and I am picking 1. 1 is placed in first. It is so smaller number than all the remaining numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. And this is the process how you are have to do. By seeing on these two examples, you better understand how to solve a problem by using different sorting techniques. This is only introduction, but I will tell you on Monday. Tomorrow session is completely doubt session. Don't skip that doubt session. I will come on Zoom. Each and everyone has to switch on your videos also, because I don't know you everyone. I want to see once who are the students present in first semester, first year, second semester. I want to see once. I know your face, but I don't know your names. I want to know each and every person individually. If you don't have any doubts also, you can come. I don't ask you any questions. I want to just interact with you for a few minutes. That's it. A few minutes only. I don't waste your time. 20 or 30 minutes I will take. Please, each and every person come for tomorrow's Zoom section. I will share the link by tomorrow morning. Don't skip the tomorrow class. Monday onwards, I will teach you on Blackboard. And that's all for today. We will meet tomorrow. Just observe, these are the different sorting techniques. This is quick sort and this is merge sort. I will tell you from Monday onwards, so clearly on Blackboard. This is only for introduction part only, I have told you. Monday onwards, each and every sorting technique will be explained on Blackboard along with the algorithm. You have to implement that algorithm in program. Every day I will give you a task, a simple task. You have to submit that on Saturday. Every Saturday I will check the entire assigned homework problems on Saturday. But tomorrow session is very important for us. I want to see each and every face along with your names. That's all for today. We will meet tomorrow.